What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Spurs post-game reaction with Shivam Patel. So I'm basketball analyst Shivam Patel coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And the Spurs got another win today. And before we start, I wanted to quickly say that remember to follow the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. And those two channels are where you can find every post-game reaction episode immediately right after the game. I'll give my instant reaction and analysis to what I saw on the hard court. And thank you everybody so much for watching. And remember to leave your comments and leave your analysis, any comments and reaction that you're having to this game. What are your thoughts about this game, Spurs fans? It has to feel good to get a win against the Golden State Warriors, a foe in the Western Conference. And the Spurs ended up getting a 110-105 victory against the Warriors. And man, what a game by DeJounte Murray, getting a double-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds. He set his own career high with 8 steals. He just played out of his mind today. And I was very impressed with the Spurs because this has to be the best defensive performance that they've had so far in the season. I love how active they were. They were doing a great job of showing their hands, putting great ball pressure on the Warriors, making it tough for them. The Warriors ended up having 20 turnovers, and the Spurs ended up getting 12 steals, and 8 of them were from DeJounte Murray. They did a great job of really clogging the passing lanes, getting a lot of deflections, making the Warriors take contested shots, get contested passes. And this was especially in the second half because Pop must have reamed into them at halftime because the Spurs were down at halftime, 59-54, and they did a really great job of weathering the storm. Because the Warriors came out, Steph Curry came out, really shooting well from 3, getting to his spots. It looked pretty easy. And even Kelly Oubre, he made like 3 or 4 threes from the corner, had a nice drive, couple nice drives, dunks. He's really athletic. Draymond had really nice passes. He's just a great passer of the basketball. And the Warriors were just getting whatever they wanted. They had Draymond as a point forward, either, at the top of the key, initiating the offense. There was a lot of cutting action, and he was able to make some nice passes, and also a little bit posting up because the Warriors didn't play with a center today because the rookie James Wiseman was out due to injury. So Draymond Green had a smaller player in Derek White against him. So he would try to post up Derek, and the Spurs would send the double team, and Draymond basically has eyes in the back of his head. He would find a nice cutter to the basket or a wide open 3-point shooter. So Pop made the necessary adjustments in the second quarter and at halftime. I love how they did a great job of trapping the pick and roll. Like I said earlier, I thought they would do this earlier in the game, but they did a great job of trapping Steph Curry on the pick and roll, forcing him to give up the ball and trusting their rotations. And the rotations were on point like they had to be because the Warriors are the really a good team in cutting to the basket, finding open shooters. So the Spurs did a great job of clogging up the passing lanes and not allowing them to take advantage of the advantage that they have with the 3 against 2 in the back end after Steph Curry was being trapped on the pick and roll. In the second half, also, the Spurs were much more comfortable on the offensive end of the floor. The ball movement was excellent. The cutting was excellent. They were able to get to their spots. DeJounte Murray did a great job of really driving to the basket, getting to the foul line. DeRozan, of course, was doing his thing. He had 21 points, getting to his spots in the mid-range. He even made a couple of threes, was also to the free throw line. So the Spurs offense was making a lot of shots in the second half. Patty Mills even chipped in. Keldon Johnson had some nice drives. Jakob Poeltl, or as they call him on the telecast, Blocka Poeltl. He had 3 blocks. Then he had a bunch of nice layups off of open passes that DeJounte did a great job of forcing when he drove in, forcing the defense to collapse and just kick it off to Jakob for an easy layup. So it was just great sound basketball by the Spurs on the offensive end of the floor. But they really won this game on the defensive end of the floor because even though Steph Curry did finish with 32 points, he was relatively quiet in the second half. as well as Kelly Oubre. So they did a great job of forcing the other guys to beat them. The Andrew Wiggins, the Draymond Greens, the Toscano Andersons. Really taking the ball out of the Stars' hands and forcing the others to step up, because you can't have both. You can't have it both ways, where Steph Curry is playing really well and shooting the lights out and the others are playing well. That really makes the Warriors impossible to beat. So they let Steph Curry get his, but they stopped the others. And I think that was key to victory. And I love the Spurs' hustle. They were getting after every loose ball, getting on the rebounds, because they had the advantage. Because like I said earlier, the Warriors did not play with the center. So Jakob Poeltl got a lot of nice offensive rebounds and second possessions. On the defensive end, they were cleaning up the defensive rebounds. But, so the Spurs ended up taking care of business at the first game of a mini series against the Warriors. And again, please put in the comments your reactions and your analysis, to this game. I would love to hear from you, Spurs Nation. Or we have to be pumped about this win. This was a great win. Anytime you can beat a high-quality West opponent like the Warriors, you have to feel good yourself, because the Warriors ended up annihilating the Mavericks by 46 points a couple nights ago. Steph Curry went berserk on the Mavs, even though they did fall short on Saturday. The Warriors were still a hot team coming in. And like I said earlier, they really owed the Warriors, because the Warriors completely demolished them in Oakland or in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. So the Warriors were coming in confident, feeling that they could have their way with the Spurs team. But the Spurs said, no, we're going to protect home court. And they ended up playing really gritty, really tough. They didn't foul as much. I love that also, because you can't allow Steph Curry to get to the free throw line in the Warriors team in general. So they kept them at bay by keeping their hands up and not fouling and drawing a lot of contact. And I think they just played great, sound defense. And we have a comment. It says, go Spurs, go. And DeJounte Murray almost had a triple-double, 8 steals, a career high. Yes, he broke his previous record, and he was just all over the place today. He was just using his long wingspan to guard Steph Curry. That was his primary responsibility, and he just uses his size and athleticism to put a lot of pressure on Steph Curry and get the ball out of his hands, because I think that's the key, and forcing the others to beat them. And the others did not step up for the Golden State Warriors. But what a win again for the Spurs. Tomorrow night, they should have Lonnie Walker back. Derek White's not going to play tomorrow night after a second night of a back-to-back, but Lonnie Walker is supposed to be back for the Spurs, so hopefully they'll give a jolt of energy. I think the Spurs really need to get this tomorrow night's game against the Warriors, because they're going on a long Eastern Conference trip, their road trip, and they have a chance to build confidence before that. The Spurs have been better on the road than they have been at home, and they have a lot of favorable matchups. The Atlanta Hawks are going to be tough, but they have like the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Indiana Pacers, all teams that they can beat and have their way against. But the way to do that is to build confidence and build wins against a very high quality Warriors team. And even though the Warriors did not make shots today, the Spurs still allowed a little bit too many wide open shots for my liking. So Pop needs to watch the film tonight and clean that up. I would like to see a little bit more contest on the shots at times. The Spurs got a little lucky that the Warriors did not make their shots. They were in the first half, because the Warriors ended up getting a 10-point lead, but the Spurs came roaring back, and we're only down at 5. So I think that allowed the Spurs to be able to stay in this game and give them the energy to be able to make a second half comeback and get over the top. And they ended up playing really well at the start of the fourth quarter. They had a 10-1 run. Jakob Poeltl was playing well, DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, but then the Warriors came storming back because the Spurs got a little lackadaisical. They need to be a little bit more consistent. They play really good defense at times, but also at times, they allow Warriors to shoot a lot of, open shots. So I would like to see, the rotations in the defense shirt up a little bit. But this was a great start. Like I said earlier, this was one of the best defensive performances I've seen from the Spurs this year, and it was at perfect timing, because the Warriors are a very potent offense, And Draymond Green, I think, look for him to be a little bit more aggressive tomorrow night, because at times, like I said, he was playing the point forward and he was pass instead of shooting. He had a couple of open threes could have taken and a couple of open floaters. So I think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. Andrew Wiggins, I think, is going to step up tomorrow and be more aggressive. So they need to do a great job of containing Steph Curry, containing Oubre, and forcing Andrew Wiggins and the others to beat them, because if the others beat you, then you can just go to the middle of the court and shake their hand, but you cannot let the stars beat you. So I think the Spurs ended up playing really well on the offensive end in the second half. Like I said, I love their ball movement. I love their tenacity. They were really body movement, ball movement. They were cutting to the basket. They were getting really high quality looks. It really helps if you make shots. It's a make or miss league. And Pop, made the necessary adjustments. I think he put the ball more in the second half in DeJounte Murray's and DeMar DeRozan's hands, and put them at the top of the key and let them go one-on-one a little bit and either find their own shot, get to their spots, or find their teammates. And I loved, towards the end of the game when the Spurs had, I believe it was a 2-point lead, and the Spurs possession, was not really going anywhere, and they were dribbling out. Derek White, tried to attack the basket, but then a help defender came, so he kicked it out to DeJounte Murray, and he had DeMar DeRozan on the wing, but he drew a ball fake, to get the defender to bite and go towards DeMar DeRozan, and he did a couple of between the legs moves, step back. It was nothing but net. It was an awesome shot. It was a bad shot towards the end of the shot clock, but it went in, and the Spurs will take it. So I think that was a huge shot by DeJounte Murray, and it basically summed up the night of how great game DeJounte Murray has had. And then coming back, they did let Steph Curry get a three to cut the lead to 1. It was 101 to 100, but then DeMar DeRozan was able to make a couple clutch free throws. And I think the Spurs are feeling very comfortable putting the ball in DeMar DeRozan's hands, because Papa said he makes the right decision. He either knows when to pass it, when to shoot it. He knows when to be aggressive, how to get to his spots, how to get his teammates involved. He's a great leader. You can just see him talking to his teammates, encouraging his teammates. So the Spurs really believe in DeMar DeRozan, and it shows at the end of games because he is their veteran. And especially with LaMarcus Aldridge out tonight, it was good that the Spurs put the ball in DeMar DeRozan's hands and let him finish the game for them and get the right shot. And DeJounte Murray, when he's hot, he's hot. And I love how he blends attacking the basket, using that size and athleticism. He has a nice little pull-up mid-range shot. Occasionally he'll shoot a three, but I like he doesn't get too three-point happy because he knows he's more of a potent mid-range shooter. So I think the Spurs were just playing smart, fundamental basketball today, and they outsmarted the Warriors, and they deserve to win this game. And we have a question, and remember to put your questions and your comments and your reactions in the chat section below, and they will appear live on the show. But a viewer is asking, what do you think of FIBA Patty's play? FIBA Patty has been amazing this season. He had a nice run earlier in the season against the two LA teams, against the Lakers and the Clippers, where he was just scorching hot. Every time he touched the ball and shot it, you would think it went in. And he was just very hot, and he did a great job attacking the basket, shooting through three. Did a great job, using the off-ball screens to be able to shake his defender and get the shot off. He's cooled down a little bit, but he still makes timely shots. Like a couple of times, the Spurs were a little bit of a dry spell, this evening, but Patty Mills made a couple of huge threes to get them out and get their confidence going on the offensive end. And Patty Mills was, in the running. I think he's still in the running for Sixth Man of the Year because he's just a jolt of energy coming off the bench. He'll come, he'll go off screens, he'll run, he'll cut, he'll get a shot off, attack the basket, get his, really give nice passes to his teammates. And on the defensive end, he's not afraid, even though he's small, to put his nose in the defender and really put a lot of ball pressure. And he gets a lot of steals. He gets a lot of rebounds. He's not afraid to get rebounds, go after loose balls. So I think Patty is just a great all-around player, and he's really rebounded because a couple years ago he was kind of struggling. Last year he had a career high, and I think this year he's going to have another career high and beat last year's career high. So I think Patty Mills is continuing to elevate his game, and he has to, because he is a veteran on this team. He was part of that 2014 championship run against the Miami Heat. He was an integral part. He was really stroking it from three. So I think he's a veteran that the young players look up to, and is a guy that can give you a lot of energy off the bench. He's just instant offense. Whenever Patty Mills comes, he's going to put up a lot of threes and make a lot of threes. And more importantly, even if he's struggling, he's like a decoy. Every time he comes off a screen, the defense usually throws two guys after him, and he makes a nice pass and gets open looks for his teammates because the defense has a shot no matter if it's hot or not. And that not only opens up the game, opens up the court for the rest of his team, but opens up the court for him as well. So I think he's a very potent player in this attack, and I think he's a very key player to the Spurs going forward if they want to continue this playoff run. And they're looking good right now. They ended up, they won the last two games, and they're now on a 3-game winning streak, feeling good about themselves. They're fifth in the Western Conference at 14-10, tied right with the Phoenix Suns. But tomorrow night, so let me move on to now previewing tomorrow night's game. So they're going to be playing the Warriors again in the mini series at the AT&T Center tomorrow night, which is going to be the last game of the series of the season against the Golden State Warriors. So I think the Spurs need to come out, continue to play hard, continue to play hungry, because the Warriors are going to play well, and they're going to really try to get revenge on the Spurs because the Warriors are also fighting for a playoff spot. So they need their stars to play well. DeJounte Murray is going to have to step up, continue to play at that level we've been playing. DeMar is going to continue to do his thing. Look for Lonnie Walker to make an impact. Hopefully they'll get LaMarcus Aldridge back. We'll see. Their bench needs to play well with, Patty Mills needs to come out and score a lot of points, as well as Rudy Gay. Jakob Poeltl needs to be active on both ends of the floor. And it's all about stopping Steph Curry. I think the Warriors may make some, counterattacks to the trapping the screen. So Pop needs to be ready to make adjustments to that. I think they'll still trap Steph Curry on the screen and force the others to beat them. But Steph Curry, instead of passing it on the trap, he may try to actually beat the trap and try to put a lot of pressure on the defense and go to the basket. So they need to be ready for Steph Curry to attack the basket more, because then that will open a 3-point game. But again, tomorrow night is at 7:30 p.m. at the AT&T Center. And again, I'll be right back right after the game tomorrow night to react to what I saw on the court, hopefully hear y'all's reactions and hear y'all's comments. And again, you can watch the Spurs reaction show tomorrow night at around 10 o'clock on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel and on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. And remember to follow the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel and like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. And again, let's enjoy this win. As Spurs fan, go Spurs go, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Thank you again for watching, everybody, and good night.